Breaking news is that Google and Verizon have made a deal. It is a terrible deal. It is a deal that might benefit Google, but we're not even entirely sure about that. It's definitely a deal that benefits Verizon, and a deal that definitely does not benefit any of the rest of us. This is on the issue of net neutrality. You know, people get confused by this. Maybe it's because it's a bad word, like bad set of words, not a clear set of words, but it's really, really simple. Follow me, okay? So net neutrality just means that everybody has the same access online. So if we have the Young Turks website, it goes at the same speed as Rush Limbaugh's website or as Verizon's website, all the websites, right? That's net neutrality. That's a good thing, that we're all equal, right? And the FCC, if they want, they can regulate it to make sure that we are all equal. Now, what Verizon wants to do is go, no, no, no. I have the pipes leading in, those series of tubes that Ted Stevens talked about a long time ago. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my websites faster, and the people who pay me more, or who I favor, maybe even politically at some point, they're going to go faster. And your websites, which either don't pay me or I don't like for whatever reason, commercial reason, political reason, I'm going to slow those down. So 2 different speeds. Now, this is terrible whether you're a left-winger, right-winger, or any other American. Now, imagine, the right-wingers are crazy if they don't go ballistic over this. What's to stop Verizon from going, you know what, I don't really agree with Rush Limbaugh these days. Why don't I slow his ass down, see if anybody can come on his website? You want to give him that kind of power? This is the one situation where the conservatives should definitely be on our side. But the problem is there are no real conservatives left in the country. They've been co-opted by the big corporate interests. So they think that being conservative, it just means, what does corporation tell us to do? Verizon, giant corporation, AT&T, giant corporation. We will do what they tell us. Okay, we are against net neutrality. You idiots, they can discriminate against you. And who's to say the guys running those corporations one day won't be big liberals? Don't let them discriminate against you. And it's so they can make more money. And look, they make plenty of money as it is. That ain't the issue, man. And you want to solve it so that Verizon and AT&T, et cetera, those carriers make more money? There's 100 different ways to do that. But this ain't the right way. So if you care about equality online, if you care about the internet and whichever sites you want to go to, it doesn't matter any site. You don't want Verizon and AT&T making those decisions. You want the government to be able to regulate and the FCC to come in and go, no deal. Everybody gets equal access. Now, why is Google and Verizon's deal so important? Well, they make a deal saying, hey, you know what? If you got a normal landline connection, are we not merciful? We're going to let you keep that, and that's going to be fair and equal access to everybody. But if you're wireless, we're going to start to change those rules because most people are going to be wireless, especially into the future. So now, in that regard, well, then we can have new rules that Verizon and AT&T and the carriers decide on. What did Google get out of this? Right now, it's not entirely clear. My guess is they made a deal where they get to go faster than the rest of their competition. And so they switch teams, and all of a sudden they're not in favor of net neutrality. Okay, so they win for the moment being. Everybody else gets screwed. I think it's a terrible deal. Now people online are saying Google has done evil, you know, because, of course, the play on their they don't do evil line, right? And so it's disastrous for everybody involved because then they shut down the First Amendment. Then the corporations, they already took over the Supreme Court. They already took over all the politicians in Washington, D.C. But this meddlesome internet with all these people saying whatever they want to say, that's why they're coming for us. And that's why this is so important. And that's why this Google-Verizon deal is disastrous. And if Google and Verizon say it's okay, then they go to the FCC, and those FCC guys who earlier, when they were running against Republicans, you know, all the Democratic politicians and the regulators were like, oh, I can't believe what Bush is doing. We're totally in favor of net neutrality. Oh, Google and Verizon have a deal? Well, then forget it. We're not going to regulate. We're just going to let them, we're just going to go with their corporate deal. If 2 corporations agreed, they must be right. Julian Janigowski, now the head of the FCC. Oh, before, he's totally in favor of net neutrality. Now that he's in power in Washington, guess what? Not so much. Now he's going to let Google and Verizon decide. Epic fail. And so, you know what? Google should get an earful from this, man. And, you know, that's what's so nefarious sometimes about big corporations. That's why government has to be on the watch out. Because, look, a corporation doesn't have to be a bad thing, and corporations hire people. We're not against corporations overall. We're just saying that there's got to be it's like saying I'm against middle linebackers. I'm not against middle linebackers. I was a middle linebacker. I like middle linebackers. But if there are no refs, the middle linebackers will take everybody's head off. Okay? That's just the way it's structured. Right? So now the reason I'm scared is, if Google goes the way of all the large corporations, what are you going to do? I mean, they are the giants online. If they don't protect fairness and equality online, what the hell are we going to do? You know what else Google owns? YouTube. What are you going to do?